Today on CityCast Boise, Nampa's first ever Pride event is set for this Sunday at Lakeview Park from 1 to 4 p.m. But what started as a group of locals throwing a last-minute party to celebrate the city's LGBTQ residents has become a lightning rod. I'm talking with one of the organizers of Canyon County Pride, who says despite all the negativity, he's more sure than ever that this event is exactly what Nampa needs right now. It's Tuesday, June 4th. I'm Frankie Barnhill in for Lindsay Van Allen, and this is what Boise's talking about. Tom Wheeler, the organizer of Canyon County Pride, is here. Thanks for coming on the show, Tom.
Thanks for having me, Frankie.
What inspired you to put this event together?
Great question. Yeah, I am originally from the Twin Cities, but moved here about 5 years ago. My partner is a native Boisean. We had met in LA and moved back to Boise, where he is from. All his family is here. And, in the past year, I had been volunteering for a nonprofit in Nampa called Clutch, which brings together LGBTQ youth once a week after school. And that really had an impact on me. It has had an impact on me, seeing all these youth in this area come from across town to be in this shared space really had an impact on me. And that was a big part of the inspiration for doing Canyon County Pride.
Yeah, and I think, the political dynamics here are so interesting, of course, and a lot of the legislation that's been anti-queer, anti-LGBT, anti-trans has either come from folks who live in Canyon County or certainly has been supported by them. So I could imagine that being a dynamic that's very present in everyone's mind this year. So let's talk about the reaction from community members last week, in particular, when Mayor Debbie Kling came out with a press release sent by the city, and it was a reaction to a very heavily commented and really, to be honest, very bigoted comment section on Facebook after KTVB reported on the event that you guys are going to hold this event. And apparently there was a number of phone calls to the city of people saying, we don't want this event. We don't want this to happen in our city. And so the mayor came out and included herself in part of that press release, reflecting, I'm going to quote directly from it right now, "While this event does not reflect the personal beliefs and convictions of myself, the Nampa City Council, and many living in Nampa who have already reached out to us, the advice of our legal counsel was that the city of Nampa must recognize the protected First Amendment rights of those scheduling and involved in this event." What was your reaction when you saw this press release come out?
When we had envisioned Canyon County Pride, it was myself, a co-organizer of mine, who's a non-binary parent in Canyon County with two trans kids. And, they don't necessarily have the same level of safety that I do, being a cisgendered white gay man living in Boise. And so when we got together and put our brains together for Canyon County Pride, the idea was really just to bring some park benches at a park in Nampa. We didn't expect that we would need the amount of security precautions we've taken and all the things. We imagined it would be between 50 and 100 people, picnic style, in a park in Canyon County, call it Canyon County Pride. And whether the mayor and their office were aware that they were really giving us the validation and the clout, for lack of a better term, her statement and their reaction has really garnered the attention and the fundraising and all of the efforts that have made this Pride event very impactful for our state. So yeah, my reaction was, I was surprised that we were getting the attention of the mayoral's office, because we followed procedure and applied for permits.
Yeah, you would have had to apply for the permit at Lakeview Park. That's where it's going to take place, and followed all their rules and regulations. Yeah.
Right. And we got the approval from their parks department, and we're like, great. To a certain extent, we were a bit surprised. We weren't necessarily expecting, especially on the short timeline, like, here you go. It took a little bit for them to respond. However, yeah, when we got the approval, we're like, great. And we started organizing. We had a small GoFundMe goal. We had a few ideas for things. And then when we saw those comments, we were like, oh, wow, this is going to be something bigger.
Yeah. It has become something you weren't expecting. How much was, by the way, how much was that original GoFundMe goal when you put that out there?
Original GoFundMe goal was listed at 3,000.
Wow. And then it's been moved to 10,000 subsequently. And I think last time I looked, it was around over $16,000 has been raised. So what I'm kind of hearing is that, of course, I'm sure you were disappointed in hearing what the city council said. Do you feel like is the net of all of this kind of a net positive after that statement from the city? How do you feel about it right now?
Yeah, I think that again, originally we were going to pull some park benches together and throw up a few flags and enjoy Pride in the Park with folks of Canyon County. And with the statements from the mayor, it's only validated the work that we're doing. And it's given me more fuel because it reaffirms why we need a Pride in this area. Canyon County is the second largest jurisdiction in the entire state of Idaho. And that is why we need a Pride. We need a Pride for folks who live in an area where their city leadership is vocalizing disdain for anything that has to do with celebrating their existence. It's a nationally recognized month, and we ask for an afternoon in a park. It's really not a huge ordeal. However, the statements by city leadership has really turned this into something much bigger. And at the end of the day, we're grateful for that.
I think you mentioned this, perhaps maybe it was another outlet that you spoke with, but I saw something you mentioned reference Stonewall. Can you talk about that and how you're thinking about the history in this moment and what you're experiencing, what Canyon County Pride's experienced?
Yeah, the reason I bring up Stonewall is because that is the beginning of the LGBTQ movement. And that is why we celebrate Pride Month. I think for folks who think that, oh, why do you have to have a month or what is this about? If you reflect on where it started in the summer of 1969 in Greenwich Village in New York, with a few folks who were tired of being discriminated against and persecuted by police, and they sort of stood up. And that's unfortunately the theme is similar in that we are still seeing groups of folks who are persecuted for their gender identity, for their sexual orientation. And if we don't come together and say, hey, we're here, we exist, we participate civically like anybody else, we take our kids to school, we sit down for dinner with our families, like we're really one and the same as folks. And I think that's one thing that people don't necessarily register. I understand that from a place of fear, fear begets hate more or less, and fear is originates in a lack of understanding, a lack of awareness. And I think that that is the tone that I've kept throughout this is we all have something to learn from this. I'm not adversarial. I respect everyone's personal beliefs. I respect Mayor Kling's personal beliefs and anyone who does not share my personal beliefs. That's why they're called personal beliefs. And, that's all good, right? And at the same time, there are basic human rights that everyone should have day to day. And by throwing some park benches together in a park, if that's what it takes to hopefully do that, then that's what Stonewall looks like in 2024.
Okay, so it was originally going to be a few park benches pulled together. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you were expecting a couple hundred people or even less. I don't know. What do you think? What's it going to look like on Sunday, the 9th at Lakeview Park, given all the attention that you've received in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, we've worked super closely with local agencies, Nampa Police Department, City of Nampa, Parks and Rec, who have all been absolutely incredible. I can't thank the police department and the city enough for giving us this opportunity. And I say it that way. I mean, it really is our First Amendment right. However, they've been extremely supportive. So we've worked together to come up with plans to ensure that it's a smooth day for everybody involved. And folks can expect to arrive and walk into the festival grounds. We'll have folks at the front, hired private security who will just be doing some basic, open your pockets, We're going to enforce no weapons in our festival grounds, of course. And so folks can be welcomed by, friendly faces, welcoming them into the space. We'll have over 25 vendors, informational vendors, including Idaho Democrats, who are our primary title sponsor, ACLU of Idaho, Intermountain Fair Housing, various local agencies who will be sharing information. We will have a stage and an area where we'll have live music and a few other events we have planned. We'll have some food trucks. So really just envision a festival in the park celebrating queer art and existence.
Can I ask you a little bit more about the security and the police presence? It sounds like was did you hire security in response to the backlash that you've received, or was that already set in motion?
It was not something we originally planned. We wanted to, and again, this speaks to why we have pride, but we just wanted to gather in a park. And because folks have such strong personal beliefs about us having some time in the park, that has prompted us to take high level precautions. And I want to give anyone who has question of participating on Sunday, first and foremost, take care of yourself and make the choice that's best for you and your family. And but I want to give anyone that's considering attending full confidence. We have taken every precaution. Our number one priority beyond celebrating our community is safety. And thanks to folks who've really given us more awareness, we've significantly increased our fundraising efforts we ever imagined that we would, and we're subsequently spending a good portion of that on security.
I do wonder, one thing that's come up in prides in Idaho and elsewhere is the conversation around police presence at Pride. And of course, like you referenced Stonewall riots, and there has been a history in the United States, an ugly history of police crackdowns against the queer community. And so I wonder, how do you think about involving the Nampa police specifically for some folks who might feel like a little uncomfortable having a police presence around?
Right, great question. And I've been grateful to have these conversations with Nampa Police. I think that speaks to the impact we're having thus far. Is that when have we been able to discuss past relationships and discuss issues that folks that are a part of my community have faced with police? And at the same time, the Nampa Police have been incredible in vocalizing their support that their number one priority is to ensure the safety of everyone in the community, and we're part of that community if we're in the community. And so they haven't incorporated personal beliefs into their job, which is to protect folks regardless. And so it's a challenging thing. We've done something similar to this in Ketchum. So last year, some folks in Ketchum and myself, I brought a group of drag queens up to Sun Valley, and we threw together a little festival similar to this with food trucks and vendors. And we had no discussions around, we didn't have to have discussions around temporary fencing
Hmm.
and a parameter and security. It wasn't even something that crossed our minds because we were in a community that was open to everyone.
Yeah, felt safe. You felt supported. Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, this is unique in the intricacies of safety. And at the same time, we really, we just aren't going to take a risk in not having folks who are trained and professionals in safety. And, for us, we're enforcing no weapons and we're in an open carry state. There's elements to us putting this on that are greater than what our control is. And
Hmm.
so at the end of the day, it's non-negotiable to have folks in place to ensure top safety.
Well, as you've alluded to, you've had an incredible response from the community, incredibly positive response to something that at first I'm sure felt pretty negative. So, how many people do you think are going to show up? What's your guess?
Well, we keep refreshing the Facebook page. The Facebook event page has over 1,500 marked interested or going. And of course, those are festival goers that are supporters and people in the community. It's hard to say what we will expect from folks who will be protesting our existence. I'm guessing a few thousand, and then it's hard to say who will show up to anti-protest as well.
How are you feeling right now as far as just like the positive element of it, the feeling that, oh gosh, our GoFundMe has gone bonkers. So many people are hearing about this event. People in Boise who probably never would have thought of driving to Canyon County, maybe are going to go to Canyon County Pride now. What is that like, and how is that feeling among you and your team?
It is the most, I mean, I get chills with how much love and gratitude I have for how much this community has mobilized. I mean, I got a call from Will Burton, who is Tennessee Music Award winning songwriter, singer. He and his wife are moving to the Nampa area. They found out about the festival. He had headlined Memphis Pride. So
Huh.
he's a huge ally. And he gave me a call and said, "Hey, we're moving to Nampa. We want to be a part of the community. How can I show up? I'm happy to support and share my music." And it's stories like that. And the folks who've DM'd saying, I've lived here for my whole life. I'm third, fourth generation Idahoan. And to have something like this put on is so incredible. It's just, I can't even put words to how much gratitude I have for how the community has completely mobilized for this.
Wow. Okay, so as far as like event headlining and how the day will unfold, give us a little taste of what's on the lineup.
Yeah, we're still ironing those details out. We got the approval a week ago or 2 weeks ago today. So we're 14 days in and now we're 7 days out, or maybe, six, I guess.
Which is incredible to note that you're putting this together in like 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, we will have a variety of different live performances. Will Burton, as I mentioned, is an amazing country star. We'll have the Gay Men's Choir. We'll have some youth bands, and we're still ironing out details. But it's sure to be an incredible time. And beyond the live entertainment, we have so many amazing vendors, local food trucks, informational booths. So it's really a one-stop shop for experiencing the diversity of our community.
So cool. Do you have any tips for people? Like, well, thank God, no guns. That's my opinion. But as far as like, what can people bring in? What should they know? Should they come hungry? Like, what should people know before they arrive?
Yeah, we'll have various food trucks, so you definitely have options for food. We are not serving alcohol. It is not something that we had the capacity to do in a short period of time, and also given the sort of environment, we chose not to, have that available. So, you'll have to go somewhere afterwards for a happy hour, but
Sure. Yeah.
we'll have some really amazing T-shirts for sale. Keep Canyon County Queer is part of our branding, and there's some really great. We have inclusive sizing for T-shirts. Yeah, there's various trees in the park, but it should be warm.
Yeah. It looks like the forecast looks like it's gonna be nice and toasty, very
It's going to be
summery.
toasty, so
Mhm.
be prepared for that. Bring your sunscreen, and we'll have water, but bring your water and maybe an umbrella or something to kind of stay cool. But be ready for a day in the park in Nampa.
That sounds so lovely. Are you still looking for volunteers, Tom? Like, if people are hearing this, they're like, "Well, I can't donate to the GoFundMe, or I've already donated. What else can I do? How can people get involved?"
Great question. We have a volunteer sign up sheet on our Facebook page. So if those that are interested would like to join us in our efforts, we have various departments, if you will, now that have grown from our volunteer list, because we've actually we have parking available at Lakeview Park. We have our team that's organizing the booths, our team that's going to be present for just eyes and security, and a team for just smiles and waves. And so yeah, if you're interested and want to join us, we'll be meeting this week to kind of get it organized. But please sign up on our Google form that will allow us to be in touch for next steps on volunteering.
Great. Well, we'll link to that Facebook page. Thank you so much, Tom. I hope everybody has a great time on Sunday, and appreciate you coming on to tell us more about it.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right. right, that's all for today here on CityCast Boise. If you enjoyed the show, subscribe to our Hey Boise newsletter for more local news and events. It's free and it goes right to your inbox every Monday through Friday. We'll be back tomorrow morning with a summer bucket list to make the most of the hot, sunny days ahead. See you then.